We are back with the next installment of Eyes on Indianapolis, the series where we see if VGC newcomers can take Pokemon champions from day one to the top of the Indianapolis Regional Championships.
The main team that I used to climb Master Ball rank this week on Mega Delphox with BLAST-ULEGION, Kingambit, Sinistcha, Garchomp, and Sneasler. Now if you see, these are some pretty common Pokemon in the format. I found that using the best Pokemon and then slotting in whichever Mega you like the most that week has been working out pretty well for me. Following my first tournament last weekend, I noticed that BLAST-ULEGION has been an incredibly strong option. It's almost like its own mini Mega with how strong it can hit with its adaptability ability, which powers up all of its stab moves like its powerful Wave Crash and Last Respects moves. Put the Choice Scarf item on it so that it can outspeed a lot of threats in the format, as it is a little bit slow, but this allowed me to either get surprise early knockouts with Wave Crash or fast flip turns, allowing me to preserve it for the late game with Last Respects, which gets stronger each time one of your own Pokemon faints. So BLAST-ULEGION is just an incredible Pokemon right now that can be plugged into any team, and if you've played anything on the ladder, I'm sure you've seen quite a bit of the fish.
I think another reason that they do present so many problems to so many people is it's common to run them on a rain team, but they're very successful outside of the rain too. It's just a really strong Pokemon.
Yeah. And there's so many different sets you can run with BLAST-ULEGION right now. There's the Swift Swims set that can go really hard in rain teams. And you can also run a Focus Sash on it, is what a lot of people have been running, which you stay alive with the Focus Sash and then you can knock it out in return. So I added it to my Delphox, Kingambit, Sinistcha core that I had had a lot of success with to make it to the Master Ball rank. And I'm still a strong believer in Delphox. I think it's probably the best non-Floette Mega to come from Legends ZA. Incredible speed tier lets it outspeed most threats, and then decided to run Will-O-Wisp as my non-attack option over other top choices like Substitute and Encore. With Will-O-Wisp being able to essentially shut down opposing physical attackers that threaten Delphox like Aerodactyl, Tyranitar, BLAST-ULEGION, Kingambit, it was really big for my team and helped Delphox stay alive for an extra turn or two, as she really doesn't have that much bulk. It also helps protect you from Kingambit's Sucker Punch mind play, as the Delphox can Will-O-Wisp it first to get around the Sucker Punch, and then the following Sucker Punch will not KO the Sneasler, and a Heat Wave can then trade a KO in return. One other team I wanted to highlight was a team centered around Mega Blastoise. Now, I was getting absolutely flamed by some Blastoise teams in Master Ball tier. I guess I wasn't really expecting it to be so good as it was, but it's really strong and it's tanky. It's really only held back by its middling speed stat, so a lot of teams will get around the slow speed by setting up a Shell Smash next to a Fake Out user. I then saw an idea from Michael Kelsch, who is one of the premier competitive Pokemon players, to use Farigiraf to block opposing Fake Outs and then putting Fake Out on Blastoise himself. This almost guarantees that Farigiraf can set up Trick Room. Farigiraf also learns Rain Dance, which is kind of silly, but you set up the Trick Room, you have Blastoise next to it, you click Rain Dance as the Farig underspeeds the Blastoise, allowing it to go first in Trick Room, set up the Rain Dance, and then those Water Spouts are just destroying everything. And then in the back, I would bring Sinistcha, which can help heal up your Blastoise even more, keeping those Water Spouts at high power, and then also giving you another Trick Room setter in case the Farigiraf gets knocked out or isn't a good bring.
That ability is just so good, that hospitality that it has. As long as you keep swapping in and out, like whatever's beside it's getting a really healthy dose of healing. Just from it entering the field. You don't have to use a move, you don't have to waste a turn to click it or anything.
And if you're in a Trick Room, Sinistcha also has Life Dew, so you can click Life Dew that heals both the Sinistcha and its partner Pokemon, so that's even more healing, even more water spouting. And then I also brought Kingambit, who's one of the best Trick Room users, as he is very slow. I hardly ever brought the other two Pokemon on my team. I brought Mega Floette and Aerodactyl. It was mostly just putting them there as kind of a fake out to my opponent, making them think, oh, I gotta prepare for Tailwind possibly, and Mega Floette can do really well under Tailwind, so it is still a good option.
Two really good teams that you used this week. From those two teams, who's your MVP of the week?
This week I gotta go with Kingambit, as known as Cringe Gambit, according to Wolfie VGC. Now, originally I was running a Swords Dance set, which was working really nicely next to my coaching Sneasler as well. I could set up a Swords Dance, but I also had the option to protect my King Gambit and use a coaching to boost up its attack and defense even further. But I found it harder and harder to be able to set up with Swords Dance, as pretty much every team is ready for King Gambit at this point. There's a lot of strong fighting types in the meta. So I pivoted slightly to use a bulky King Gambit with a Choppleberry so that I could guarantee live at least one fighting type hit. Even the Sneaslers, I added a little bit of defensive bulk and I was not getting one shot by any Sneaslers with the Choppleberry. This also allowed me to run Ironhead over Swords Dance to deal with the pesky Floettes and Tyrannitars running around. And King Gambit was especially helpful to counter the rise of BLAST-ULEGION, as I talked about before. As I've built more and more teams, I'm finding it really difficult to leave King Gambit off my teams. Just having the Sucker Punch pressure that threatens so many of the Ghost and Psychic types like BLAST-ULEGION, Sinistra, Farigarath, Delphox, and his Defiant ability can really make your opponent think twice about bringing Incineroar with Intimidate or other stat-dropping moves like Icy Wind. Can really just allow Cringe Gambit to completely take over games. My MVP of the week is King Gambit, and it's not a Pokemon that is going anywhere anytime soon.
We'll say the Choppleberry. I think it's really good because not only are there a bunch of fighting types, people have also started putting low kick on anything that can learn it. That's the move that goes based off of your weight to how strong it is. So King Gambit, Steel Bulkster, is a very heavy guy, so quad effective low kick, even from a non-stab Pokemon, is gonna do a lot of damage. So that Choppleberry comes in handy. That wraps up our recap for this week. Coming up this week, preparing for the Grand Champions Festival, organized by Scraw VGC. Currently, there are over 10,000 players registered for this online tournament. Who knows what teams are gonna be there? I'm sure with 10,000 people, there'll be a lot of repeats, but I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of surprises as well.
I'm really excited for the tournament. I'm cautiously optimistic that I can win a few games. I'm not expecting to, make it to the top cut or anything like that, but I'm just hoping to learn and see some fun new teams and how to compete in these best of 3 tournaments.
Be sure to like and subscribe for a recap of the preparation we do for the tournament this weekend, as well as the results. If you think we missed some great mons this week, be sure to check out what we've covered previously, and then leave a comment below letting us know what you've been using, and if you think there's anything that we can improve on our teams. See you next week!